So right now, currently, there is a Palestinian man who's being held without charge, without trial by the Israelis. His name is Maher Al-Akhras. Maher Al-Akhras. Okay? And he's been going on hunger strike to protest his detention. So he's now on 90 days of hunger strike. His organs are starting to fail. He's becoming delirious. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad. He's just drinking water, but he's been on hunger strike for 90 days now. So just a small correction. It's actually 100 days. It's close to 100 days now since. And again, I reiterate, this guy has not been charged with a crime. He hasn't been tried. This is what they call administrative detention, right? Yes, it's becoming very familiar, these terms, you know, after the Assange trial. Yeah, it turns out that all these countries that pretend to be democracies are actually extremely fucking authoritarian, and they have legal loopholes that allow them to detain you indefinitely, right? Just like the Terrorism Act in the UK. Just like special administrative measures in the US. Yeah, they have all these things that they can use against ordinary citizens and torture them, essentially. So in Israel, they have administrative detention, and they can renew this indefinitely. Okay, so it expires every 6 months. They can renew it indefinitely. That means they can keep you for fucking years without trial, without charging you. Why? Because fuck you. Because you're Palestinian. That's why. And that's what they're doing to him, right? So they're saying that this guy is a terrorist. They're saying, oh, he's part of Islamic Jihad. Now, you got to think about that for a second. Hold on. If this guy's a terrorist, why haven't you charged him with a crime then? If you know that he's a terrorist? Just because they have no proof. Moreover, they said they're going to release him in November. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's great. They're going to release him soon. No, the guy could die. Do you understand? He's on 90 days of hunger strike. He could die any day. You know, God forbid. If they're going to release him anyway in November, yet he's a terrorist, how does that make sense? If he's a terrorist and a danger to the public, why would you release him? Why would you not charge him with a crime? This makes zero sense, right? Because he's not a terrorist. They're just trying to punish him because he's against the regime, right? Anybody who resists against the Israeli apartheid regime, they throw you in jail, whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult, doesn't matter. So, as I posted here on Twitter, Maher Al-Akhras is a political prisoner. He's being detained without charge or trial by the Zionist occupation, and he's been going on hunger strike for 90 days now. 90 days. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So you see that's a picture with he's there with his daughter, right? And you have to keep in mind that they're keeping him at a hospital of their choice. So Maher, he said that if they transfer him to a Palestinian hospital, he will eat. He'll eat. If they keep him here, he won't. And the Israelis are like, no, we're not releasing you, and we're not transferring you to a Palestinian hospital either. We're going to keep you on hunger strike. What is that? This country calls itself a democracy? You know? Here we also had a post from Zainab Safar. I was on her show on Al Mayadeen. She's so sweet. She's amazing. And she also posted about his hunger strike. Someone painted this as a mural in Palestine. This picture. Very powerful. So they also tried to stop his daughter, his family from seeing him. You can see here his daughter was outside the hospital door and she was crying. So I can hear in the background saying 90 yom, which means 90 days, right? 90 days on hunger strike. It's terrible, man. What is that? You know, they're keeping this guy starving in the bed. They won't move him to a Palestinian hospital. They won't charge him. They won't try him. Just illegally detaining him. Won't even let his family see him now. What is this? So you had numerous international organizations that have come out, the International Red Cross, the UN, that have come out and called for his immediate release. He is a political prisoner. That's it. And this one is from, hold on, I'm going to get you the full report from the UN over here. There you go. So this is from Michael Link, who is the UN Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in the Palestinian territory. Yes, that is a very long title, but it is an important one nonetheless. And I posted about the report that he published on 23rd of October. And he says that Israel should release a Palestinian detainee, Maher Al-Akhras, who has been on hunger strike for close to 90 days and end its practice of administrative detention, under which people can be held indefinitely without trial, sometimes for years. You have to keep in mind, they already did this to this man. Maher Al-Akhras was previously held for 16 months under administrative detention a few years ago with no trial and no charge. This is absurd. This is completely, absolutely absurd. As you can see here, the Israeli Supreme Court has rejected his petitions for release 3 times. What are you supposed to do in this case, man? You know, this is insane. Like, you can't even appeal to the highest court in the country for clemency, and yet they want to call themselves a democracy. What kind of a democracy is that? How is that a judiciary, a functioning judiciary? In a civilized society, based on the rule of law, you try people. If you can actually prove that they've committed a crime, you try and charge them, and then you go to court and try to prosecute them and convict them. They're not even doing that. They're just detaining him. And we're supposed to believe this is the only democracy in the Middle East. Yeah. That's how they market themselves. It's real, huh? They really say that. They really say that about Israel. They call themselves the only democracy in the Middle East. Sure. So as he says here, Link, administrative detention is an anathema in any democratic society that follows the rule of law. When the democratic state arrests and detains someone, it is required to charge the person, present its evidence in an open trial, allow for a full defense, and try to persuade an impartial judiciary of its allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Exactly. Administrative detention, in contrast, allows a state to arrest and detain a person without charges, without a trial, without knowing the evidence against her or him, and without a fair judicial review. It is a penal system that is ripe for abuse and maltreatment. Exactly. And by the way, remember, keep in mind that Julian Assange was also detained on an outdated indictment. Like, there was a period just before his hearing started from summer until September 7th. They were holding him on the outdated indictment from June 24th until September 7th. What the fuck? Yeah. Not to mention the arbitrary detention 7 years inside of the embassy. So this guy's also been through hell. He's also been through hell. They detained him once for 16 months without trial. Now they're trying this again. And he's going on hunger strike. He's had enough. And they're just like, yeah, okay, you can starve. We're not releasing you. The Supreme Court denies your motion. We're not going to move you to a Palestinian hospital. What the fuck are you supposed to do? Like, if there's no path through the judiciary, through the courts, to plead your case, to be granted clemency, what else are you supposed to do? This is completely horrifying. And you know what? To add insult to injury, there is a reporter who asked Mike Pompeo about Maher Al-Akhras, about this man. Listen to what Mike Pompeo said. You're not going to believe this. Actually, you are, because Mike Pompeo is so fucking horrible.
There is a Palestinian prisoner in Israeli prison. He's on his 87th day of a hunger strike. He's about to die. He's 46-year-old and a father of 6. I wonder if he's under administrative detention with no charge. I wonder if you have anything to say about this particular case, and if you have something to say about the principle of administrative detentions practiced by Israelis, by the Israeli authorities, sometimes that go on for years. Thank you, sir.
You know, I don't want to comment on a particular fact pattern of a particular case, other than say we've had long conversations about this set of issues. This is not new, this set of concerns. We have consistently made clear that Israel has the right to defend itself and make the appropriate decisions it needs to make for its own security, and we'll continue to defend that.
What the hell? Israel has the right to defend itself? Against what? A starving dude who's been on hunger strike for 90 days? They're just about to release him, they said, in November, next month. How is this guy a threat? He's on hunger strike. His organs are failing. He's delirious. How is he a threat? What is Israel supposed to defend itself from? We always hear this fucking excuse all the time. Oh, Israel has to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself. What, by carpet bombing densely populated civilian neighborhoods? What does that mean? They just use that randomly, just blanket statement for all the atrocities, all the human rights abuses, all the land grabs, all the killing, all of it, even chemical weapons, white phosphorus, all of it. It's always everyone else's fault, right? Always the Palestinians' fault. Oh, it's always the Arabs' fault. Israel has a right to defend itself. I'm sorry. Israel has a right to defend itself. Whether it's white phosphorus or it's letting a man die of hunger because they're not even trying him or taking him to court. What the fuck? He does realize that he just made himself look completely ridiculous, right? And this argument just exposed how ridiculous it is, right? I hope so, at least. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of people who buy this bullshit. They still try to rationalize it. Like, yeah, man, he surely did something wrong, because democracies just detain people randomly all the time and they refuse to charge him with a crime and just keep him fucking starving, Yeah, that's totally democratic. Israel has a right to defend itself. Yeah. You keep drinking the fucking Kool-Aid, man. Wow. Yeah, he just said that. Mike Pompeo just said that. That shows you how fucking absurd this is. That shows you how pussy whipped he is as well, because you won't ever hear a Secretary of State, you won't ever hear a U.S. official actually criticize Israel, right? There's always bipartisan support for Israel. Oh man, this is unreal. I mean, seriously, pray for this dude, man. Pray for this dude, because for Maher Al-Akhras, because he is going on 90 days of hunger strike. I mean, this is absolutely inhumane. It's cruel. Could you imagine, seriously, could you just imagine if another country did this to an Israeli? Could you imagine the fucking bricks that Netanyahu would shit if a country dared to hold an Israeli without trial? Never mind the citizen going on hunger strike. They would shit bricks, okay? They would shit a bulldozer. But it's okay to do it to Palestinians. And of course, the mainstream media doesn't say a fucking thing. Nothing. The only places you're going to find this are Arab outlets. Case in point. What is that? What is that? It's really telling. Not only is there a crime being committed here, but the media is also failing to hold the governments committing these crimes accountable. They are working together in tandem, right? The job of the media is to tell the truth, to report the truth, to hold the powerful accountable. Where is that? Where is it? You're not going to find it because they're fucking stenographers, not journalists. You won't hear a shit about this on CNN. You won't hear a word of this on Fox or MSNBC or the New York Times. You won't hear shit. Motherfuckers. Motherfuckers. Really. So that's it. That's a segment. That's a segment. I'll keep you updated, of course, on what happens to him. But seriously, this guy, man, he's in pain. Like he's suffering, man. This is not okay. This is absolutely not okay. I mean, this is a drop in the fucking ocean compared to all of the atrocities that the Israelis have committed against the Palestinians since 1948, stealing their land, killing them, imprisoning them. I mean, this is a drop in the ocean. And nonetheless, it is still an atrocity. It is still an atrocity.